Okay, let's start with this one. So let me zoom in for a moment. The shortcut for zooming in is Command for Macs, Command plus, and for PCs, Control plus. Make sure that Artboard 4 is selected and that you've clicked on Artboard 4. Okay, let's start adding these graphics. So first of all, we'll start with this rectangle over here. And we're going to look at the swatches panel over here. So swatches are essentially saved colors, and you should be able to see these colors saved. So these will be the colors that we'll be working with. Now, if you don't have these colors, that's absolutely fine. I will show you how to copy these colors. Right, so let's start with this rectangle. So I would like us to go to the rectangle tool over here. And I would like us to look at the fill and the stroke at the top. So the fill is the color that the shape will be filled with, and the stroke is a border. So a shape like this will have no fill, and we'll just have this border, quite a figure one. So we'll have to change it over here. So what we can start with is, one of my tricks is I'm going to create a rectangle, click and drag from one corner to the other so it covers the whole page. And now what we're going to do is change the fill, remove the fill, and add a stroke. Now these options are available as well here in the properties panel. You'll see the same option, fill and stroke, and the border size. So I want us to click on the fill and click on this little strike through, which will remove the fill. And I would like us to click on stroke this time and pick this color. Now, if you don't see this color, absolutely fine. What you can do alternatively is click on the color picker. And if you hover and click over the color you want, you'll see a color picker or a eyedropper, and you can click on that color and it will give you that color that you need. Then you can click on OK. Now we don't see the border just yet because the width of the border is 0 pixels. So let's change that. So if you click on this arrow here and you increase, you will start to see the border. That's actually quite nice to have a border like that, but we're going to have to resize our border so it's similar to this one. Right, to do this, we have to go to the Move tool, and I'm going to show you a little trick and a shortcut to resize this rectangle. First, check that you're on the correct layer, the rectangle that you've just created. And second, you need to go to Edit, Free Transform, or Command T or Control T for PCs. When you do this, you'll be able to resize it. If you want to resize it from the center, so there's equal width all around, you need to hold down the Alt or Option key, and it will do a nice job. And voila, like we say in French. Very good. Moving on to these. Probably the most exciting part is a clipping mask. This is called a clipping mask. So for clipping masks, you always have to create a shape first, which will be the clipping, and then you place the image inside the shape. So we need to create a circle. Now if you right click, you will see the ellipse tool. And to draw a circle, I mean, you can draw ellipses as well, although that's not what we need. So if you wanted to undo, you can edit undo or Command or Control Z. And again, but to draw a circle with equal width and height, with equal radius, you hold down the Shift key and you let go. Now don't worry about having it exactly the same proportions. We're just trying to do it by eye. It doesn't have to be copy-paste the same as this one. So anyway, I would like us to give it a nice fill. And don't worry about the stroke, that is fine. We could also actually remove the stroke. No border. Okay, now if you look at the layers, you will see an ellipse, which is this one. And you'll see a rectangle, which is that one. And we're going to place an image, and it's important that we have the layer of the ellipse selected, because our layer of our image will come directly above the shape. So to place images in Photoshop, you need to go to File, Place Embedded. Now, if you go back to this folder and you double click on exercise 1, you go to images, you'll see a couple of images here. Let's select the lovely lady with her tattoo and click on place. And now we need to resize our image. And all we need to do is click and drag. Pretty easy, and resize our image. Now it's important for Clipping Moss that our image is directly above or in front of our circle, of our shape. And in the layers panel, that the layer of the image sits directly above the layer of the shape. Okay, now for Clipping Moss. So I would like you to hover in between your layers. Make sure you are on the Move tool now. Hover in between your layers, and I want you to hold down the Alt or Option key. And I want you to hover, don't click anything just yet, until you see this square, the white square with the black arrow. As soon as you see this, you can click and your image will go nicely in your frame. Beautiful. Now, if you look at your layers here, you'll see a little arrow. So this is telling us that our image, this image is inside this shape. Great. Let's do the second one now. I believe in repetition. That's how you learn. So let's go back to our ellipse tool. And let's again hold down the Shift key so it's a circle. More or less, it doesn't have to be the same size. And again, we have our ellipse here, and we're going to place an image on top of this ellipse. So if we go to File, Place Embedded, we can select this guy with the glasses. And again, we need to resize this image. And again, we hover in between the layers. We do not click yet, we just hover. Then we hold down the Alt or Option key and we move our mouse around until we see the white square and the black arrow. And then you click. And then your image is nicely inside your shape and in the layers as well.